Episode 91. I am here.
Are you sure you're just good friends?
That sounded odd. Serena leaned over and approached him, throwing her arms around his shoulders, asking, "What do you think he is to me?" Jake looked at Serena. He still remembered that photo of Serena and Henry. When she lost the baby, he deliberately made Henry spend time alone with her. Although it felt terrible, he was trying to make her happy. Hearing her question, Jake did not speak, but took a puff from the cigarette and then exhaled. "I never had a lot of friends growing up." Hearing Serena's statement, Jake nodded. He knew. Judging from her intelligence and people skills back in the days, it would be illogical if she had friends. "I used to think Eva Lopez was a good friend, but then she betrayed me completely. And I used to think that Stella was a friend, but then I found out how silly I was." Silly indeed. Those two are shitty people at first glance, Jake thought. Henry was the exception. He was my classmate in junior high and high school. We were desk mates for years, and he had always been good to me. Jake's eyes became cold. Serena's heart raced as she said nervously, "However, we're just good friends and never quite there."
Never quite there?
But she and Henry shared such a unique bond. "If you mind it, I will try to stay away from him." Serena felt wronged and looked at Jake carefully. "I will try not to contact him except for business. How about that?" He put out the cigarette and gazed at Serena.
You and he were never quite there. How about you and me?
She looked at Jake's face, pretended to hesitate, and then giggled. "You and I are husband and wife." Jake smiled, put his hands on her waist, and made her sit on his lap.
"Kiss me."
She hesitated, and then pecked on his lips.
"That's it?"
"Yeah."
"Now that's not a real kiss."
She blushed, recalled the way he kissed her, slowly approached him, and gently put his bottom lip between hers. His lips were thin and smooth. They really tasted nice. She mimicked his moves carefully. However, that drove Jake crazy. Holding her face with both hands, he deepened the kiss so ruthlessly that Serena was unable to breathe. For once, Serena did not struggle at all. Putting her arms around his neck, she responded with passion. Her unskilled moves ignited his desire. When he was about to lose control, Jake suddenly stopped. Breathing heavily, Serena looked at him with pink cheeks and hazy eyes. Jake kissed her on the corner of her mouth and said,
"I'll take you to have some fun later."
"Fun?"
"Yes, although not as fun as this."
Serena blushed and pushed him away. "Go clean up!" The activity Jake was referring to was indeed great fun. Her ponytail flowing in the wind. Serena looked down. Standing next to the cabin door, Serena felt her whole body was shaking. However, the excitement was enchanting. "Will we fall and die?" Jake curled his lips and said calmly,
"You will not. I will make sure I land on the bottom."
A staff member asked, "Are you ready?" "Yes." "Brave girl! Protect the good lady, sir!" He saw Serena's excited and nervous look, felt his heart was melting. and nodded. I'm so scared. This is so thrilling, Mr. Jake.
What did you call me?
Darling! Ah! Screaming at the top of her lungs, Serena did not even dare to open her eyes. The falling was so horrifying that she was shaking. With a tug from the parachute, they were falling at a lower speed. Grabbing her arm with one hand, Jake whispered in his charming voice,
Don't be afraid, because I'm here.
His voice carried magic that calmed her down. Serena stopped trembling and opened her eyes, seeing the man next to her against the light at first glance. He was as expressionless as always, as if he was not hanging on a rope. She felt slightly shy, having no idea what an impact her look had on the man. Sunshine colored her beautiful face golden. Jake wished this moment could last 10,000 years. Under his gaze, Serena bashfully looked away and immediately claimed, It's so pretty! Look! Jake looked at the landscape with a subtle smile. The mountains rolled up and down, at the end of which lay the incredibly blue ocean. Seagulls were flying underneath them. A piece of cloud came over, blocking their sight, making what they saw all the more mysterious. No words could be used to describe what they saw. Jake answered,
Very pretty.
However, none of this was even comparable to her smile. Serena did not hear Jake, intoxicated by the scenery. It was the first time that she had seen a view like this in her 2 lifetimes combined. But most unexpectedly, the person next to her was Jake. In the past, Serena could not even imagine this in her wildest dream. But now it had come true.
Sweetheart,
he called her with his mature voice. She thought that sounded familiar, and only realized he was calling her 2 seconds later. As she looked back at him, he covered her lips with his. The sensation made her open her eyes wide, incredulously.